The first day after retiring from the Infinite Flow game, I was hired with a high salary by this supposedly haunted school. The monthly salary is 200,000. As the most powerful NPC in the dungeons, I worked for the system for hundreds of years, and there was no way I wanted to go. But the system never mentioned that game currency wouldn't work in the human world after arriving. I finally saved hundreds of millions, planning to enjoy my golden years. Now it's all down the drain. Damn system. On the day I reported for duty at the school, the principal's secretary gave me a student uniform. The security guard uniform still needs time to be custom made, so I'll have to make do with this one for the next 2 days. Well, it doesn't really matter to me, until during the break of evening self-study. When I was passing by the restroom, I was surrounded by a few teenage delinquents with dyed hair. Hey, you look really unfamiliar. Are you a new transfer student? The leader, with yellow hair, had a menacing look and charged in front of me. I smelled the scent of the yellow-haired guy who hadn't bathed for days, and he had his arm around a girl who looked like a delinquent. I silently swallowed. Though the yellow-haired guy smelled bad, the girl smelled delicious. There are still 3 minutes left until the time the principal appointed to meet me. Although I'm not very enthusiastic about the job, I don't want to leave a bad impression of being late on the person paying me. I just heard the green-haired and red-haired guys behind the yellow-haired one continue talking. Since you're new, you need to get to know us first. This school is haunted, you know? Except for us, no one else dares to go out at night. Yeah, we patrol every night to protect the students. Since you're new, you need to know the rules too. Pay us protection money. Otherwise, we'll throw you into a haunted place. Protection money? I haven't heard that old-fashioned term in a long time. After all, in the instance world, underlings always take the initiative to pay protection money to me. I couldn't help but let out a laugh. What the hell are you laughing at, new transfer student? You fucking look down on us? The green-haired guy said irritably. Sorry, that's not what I meant. I'll give you the money, don't get worked up. I lowered my head and fumbled in my pocket, pulling out a stack of bills. Before I could even spread out my palm, the money was snatched away by the red-haired guy behind me. Red-haired guy, who would have thought you're a rich kid? You should have taken it out earlier. I heard this school is haunted, I said slowly. So, dear classmates, how do you know I'm even human? Trying to scare people in the middle of the night. Ha! Go to hell. The green-haired guy had had enough and threw a punch at my face. The red-haired guy, upon hearing what I said, happened to open the bills I'd given him at the same time. The red-haired guy froze in shock when he saw the portraits and symbols on the bills. Bank of Heaven and Earth. Hell money. It's hell money. The green-haired guy's fist passed straight through me, because he'd hit nothing but air. The green-haired guy, due to inertia, was carried forward and crashed into my empty form. Passing through a ghost's body gives you a chilling sensation down your back. The green-haired guy fell to the ground, his trembling pupils speaking of his shock. Aya! The blonde girl reacted the fastest and screamed first. The entire teaching building echoed with her screams. The screams stirred up everyone's fear. Green hair passed out cold on the spot. The blonde closest to me stood rooted to the spot, mouth hanging open, unable to utter a single word. He was petrified. His delinquent girlfriend clearly tried to run, but he clutched her tightly. My expression remained calm as I turned off the spirit form setting in my stats, reverting to physical form. After kicking Green Hair's body aside, I walked over to the blonde and tapped his shoulder. 1, 2, 3 taps. The blonde's body went from trembling to rigid, becoming a docile doll in my hands. Listen to me, blonde guy, I said in his ear. At the end of this hallway, turn left. Okay, the blonde replied quickly. The direction I mentioned had a strong scent of my kind. They're starving. I know that feeling isn't pleasant. You've made a lot of protection money off ghosts. Now it's time to pay up. They're waiting for you. I thought I'd never need this skill again after retiring. Just 3 taps on the shoulder, and anyone can be made to do my bidding. This skill only fails on 2 things. First, the system. Second, my ex-boyfriend. My ex is at the same level as me, so I can't dominate him. After leaving the game, I probably won't see him again. I kind of miss his body. He has 8 tentacles, and his true form is an octopus. As a die-hard tentacle enthusiast, he hit my kink perfectly and climbed straight to the top of my list. But the reason I broke up with him is pretty simple. He was too clingy. If I stayed with him, I'd have absolutely no time to complete the system's tasks. And without the system rewards, it would mess up my plan to retire early. So for the sake of retiring, I gave up my tentacled boyfriend. I wish I could run into him now. Maybe we could rekindle things. After dealing with those troublemakers, I went to the principal's office. My security guard uniform was lying on the principal's desk. Apparently the secretary had made a mistake and told me to put it on. I could start working tonight. The principal said being a security guard would be easy. The security room is big, with all the necessary electronic equipment, and I can play games whenever I want. There's also unlimited snacks provided, with room and board included, and your favorite cola and cake. James, the principal said, addressing me warmly by name. Cola. I straightened my cap, and my eyes lit up as soon as I heard those words. In the game, food is the hardest thing to get, let alone this popular, tasty drink from the human world. I love cola. The bubbles popping on my tongue feel just as amazing as the sensation of players' exploding bodies in the game. And the cake. The strawberries on top are just as nice to look at and eat as players' eyeballs. Love it, love it, love it the most. Assuming nothing goes wrong, I can chill out in the security room every single day. However, the principal's tone shifted. He placed both arms on the desk, crossed his hands under his chin, his glasses glinting, looking like he was about to bring up a heavy topic. James, you need to know, our school has a lot of paranormal incidents. In your professional terms, there are many monsters here, so the students need you. You need to keep a close eye on the students on the monitors covering the entire wall in the security room, and fulfill your duties as a security guard. James, I get it. I know this like the back of my hand. Security guard, security guard. Isn't it just making sure students die safely? It's no different from what I did in Infinite Flow games. I already sent one over just now. When the principal finds out, he'll definitely be proud of me. Leave it to me. Patted my chest, vowing confidently. The principal looked at me with a gaze full of kindness and concern, and handed me a file. It recorded all the students who committed suicide in the school since its founding, as well as the paranormal incidents that have occurred so far. After handing over the file, the principal said, "All right, head back to the security room now, and be careful on the way." After leaving the principal's office, I felt more and more that the principal was a really good person. 1,000 times, 10,000 times better than the system in the game. The work environment is great. No boss breathing down my neck, and no colleagues caught up in the rat race. Just watch the monitors every day, then hand the students over to my monster buddies. And that's it, piece of cake. As a re-employment job after being laid off, this is simply fun and high-paying. If I'd known I'd been tricked by the system earlier, I should have retired early to work here as a security guard. Thinking about this, I want more and more to log back into the game and beat the system up. Ah! Help! Help! Someone was screaming. I stopped in my tracks, stood in the corridor of the teaching building, and caught the scent of my fellow monsters too. The stinky, but actually just like durian in the human world. Smells bad, but tastes delicious. Before I retired, I caught one to try in the Hunger Games dungeon, because I wanted to experience what it's like to eat. The first experience was great, but when I shared the leftover fellow monsters with those starving players out of kindness, they didn't appreciate it at all. They spun around in place, started screaming, and then ran off. Humans don't seem to like wasting food, and I also hope to be an NPC with a human touch. Maybe I could make a few player friends. So that day, I simultaneously experienced the two feelings of eating and being full. It's already night now, and with the Hungry Ghost Festival just around the corner, the monster colleagues have started rushing to meet their performance targets. I can understand the feeling of having performance targets weighing on you and having to work through the night to meet deadlines. Hard work, colleagues. Ah, the noise is coming from the bathroom. Going to the bathroom late at night, you just run into these things, I thought understandingly, shaking my head and shrugging. I tuned out the screams. Oh wait, no, the students' screams. That's normal in the game. I'm used to it by now. A light rain was falling outside. This time was perfect for a cola and a slice of cake. I picked up my pace, hurrying excitedly toward the security room. Help! Help me! Anyone, please! Please save me! Again, the noise was coming from the bathroom. Professional instinct made me glance inside. How did they scare the students this badly? Geez, sanity meter hits 0. Even if you collect them as performance, they're still the lowest grade. You should give players the friendliest service. Better to let them come with you voluntarily. That's what a good NPC should do. I strongly condemned my fellow colleagues. Show some proper service attitude. I stopped in front of the bathroom door, wanting to give my colleagues some advice. After all, colleagues acting like this makes my job harder too. Humans need sleep at night. The principal isn't a system. He can't work around the clock 24/7. If the students shouting wakes the principal, what if he docks my pay tomorrow? Suddenly, a gust of ghostly air hit me, lifting the bangs on my forehead, covered my bangs, trying to put them back in place. I don't like others seeing my face, so I wear black framed glasses to hide it too. The monster came right in front of me. It was a humanoid monster with long hair, male, wearing a school uniform, with a bottomless bloodstain on its neck. I judged it was the student who had committed suicide in the bathroom earlier. There was information about it in the files. It loved scaring students in the bathroom at night. Such a strange hobby. But messing up someone else's hairstyle is a really impolite thing, though. I clenched my fist slightly, still with a smile on my lips. The monster was momentarily intimidated by my aura, then remembered who the real monster was. I was wearing a security guard uniform, looking like just an insignificant security guard, thin, as if he could snap me in one bite. Security guard, heh, security guard, then I'll kill you too, heh heh heh. After saying that, the monster's long hair pounced at me. This monster's hunting method was similar to a spider's, using its hair as a web to entangle prey, then digesting it little by little. My eyelid twitched. I was already feeling a bit impatient. Because of you, my cola cake time has been delayed. Without sweets, even I, an NPC, get irritable, you know. You low-level NPCs just don't know how to respect your seniors. The eyes under my frames glowed a blood-red hue, dyeing the entire black pupil. Before the hair could attack me, I took a step forward, getting closer to the monster. Seeing me approach, the monster's expression became even more ferocious and excited. Heh, security guard, foolish SECU. Before the monster could say the last word, I smiled and, in one swift motion, yanked off its head. You aren't just a security guard. Yeah. Of course I'm just a security guard, I replied to him cheerfully. Then why, me? Why is my body down there? Where's my head? The monster's body was still standing in front of me, but its head was in my hand. It watched as its line of sight was suddenly half a head higher, then asked this question a beat too late. Although being decapitated wouldn't kill the monster, could never reattach itself no matter what. Hearing its question, I felt a moment of helplessness. What a slow-witted monster. I felt the texture in my hand. The monster's long hair was surprisingly soft. I like things with nice textures, like stuffed toys, cute animals, or the squishy tentacles of octopuses. Instead of haunting the bathroom to scare people, this monster would make a better pet. Ah, you don't need a body anymore. I cooed at it. Having just a head is pretty great too. If you're good, I might even give you a little cake. There was still a student cowering in the corner of the bathroom. Because the night was so quiet, I could hear him sobbing into his hand. Otherwise, I almost forgot there's still someone here. I pushed away the monster's body in front of me and walked up to that boy. Without the control of its head, the body staggered twice, then lost balance and fell to the ground, visibly confused. Holding the newly acquired pet, I squatted down in front of the boy. Although I was wearing a security guard uniform, the way I killed the monster just now had all been seen by this boy. The boy looked at the ghost head in my arms, his face filled with fear. TSK, TSK. This soul isn't fresh anymore. You can leave now. I patted his shoulder. The boy was stunned yet with a hint of hesitation. You wanted someone to come save you, that's what you said, right? Anyone would do, so here I am. Even though I'm just a security guard. Seeing he still had no intention of leaving, I took the head out of my arms and held it right in front of the boy. Any more questions? Or would you rather die here? The surprise on the boy's face instantly turned to terror. I'm leaving. Thank you, security teacher. Security teacher. I savored the title slowly. No one's ever called me teacher before. It sounds really nice. Heh. The next day, news of Huang Mao's death reached the principal's office. The principal issued an urgent summons. I excitedly left the pet I'd just received in the security guard room, then hurried straight to the principal's office. They're going to praise me. On my first day on the job, I already let the principal see my abilities. He'll definitely give me a raise. I'm so excited. How should I thank the principal? Come in. I knocked on the door of the principal's office, and the principal's voice came from inside. Pushing the door open, I stood in front of the desk, with a proud look on my face. I saw that the principal and the principal's secretary had grave expressions, with the deceased student's file laid out in front of them. This is a mourning ritual for the deceased in the human world. I stood quietly to the side, waiting for them to get ready to praise me. The principal, "Did you do this, James?" I spoke up eagerly. "Yes, principal." They really liked this Huang Mao classmate. Sensing the atmosphere was off, I was confused. Weren't they supposed to praise me? "James, you need to understand." The principal began with difficulty. "We hired you as a security guard to let the students feel at ease, not to be affected by supernatural incidents. But now another student has died. How are we, the school, supposed to explain this?" This time it was my turn to fall silent. "Isn't the school recruiting students to raise goo, a traditional Chinese practice where creatures are bred to harm others?" I tilted my head and asked the principal in confusion. "Because this school is full of ghosts. So aren't the students here for my peers?" I found it hard to understand the principal's words and continued. "NPCs don't exist to serve players." The headmaster heard what I said, and his expression suddenly changed. "I understand that kind of expression. I've seen it many times before. When players learned about my top NPC identity, that's exactly the expression they had. The look of seeing a dangerous monster. Isn't that right?" I asked sincerely. The headmaster's breathing suddenly became rapid, and the secretary beside him immediately took out the asthma inhaler from the drawer and gave him a few puffs. After the headmaster patted his chest and calmed down, he said, "James, your duty is to protect the students." "Ha!" I was stunned. "Besides, you've already come out of the game. You shouldn't keep the NPC guidelines the system gave you anymore. You can try to get in touch with some human things. Your coming here is part of the game's retirement program. If no students die in the school within a year, you will have completed your retirement. At that time, you will be a human being, no longer an NPC. Do you understand what I mean now, James?" The headmaster's words left me dumbfounded. "As long as all the students are alive, I understand, headmaster." I smiled, and the look in my eyes under my black-framed glasses flickered. "At midnight tonight, tell each class to send a representative to the security room." When I returned to the security room, I found that my pet was gone. The wall clock in the security room struck midnight, and I happened to see the student representatives walking in groups on the first floor on the monitor screen. The security room is located at the end of the second floor of the teaching building, and the girls' restroom on the second floor is said to be the most haunted. I tapped the microphone in front of me, and immediately the corridor loudspeaker broadcast a sound, scaring those students badly, and they instantly huddled together. "Don't be scared, everyone," I said, trying to reassure them helplessly. "Now go forward. There are two paths, left and right. I think you should know where the security room is, so either one is fine. But let me warn you, in the left corridor, there's a female ghost in red standing, and in the circle you formed around each other just now, a ghost of the same age, dressed normally, has already mixed in." Different screams came through the monitor screen into the security room, and I covered my ears, as I'd expected this. Then I watched as the student representatives scattered, fleeing toward the right corridor one after another. I nodded in satisfaction. That's right. Otherwise, who knows how long it would take for them to slowly shuffle to the security room. I walked to the door. Just as I opened it, an eerie wind suddenly blew in for no reason. Ordinary ghosts don't have this much power. I stepped back and got a full view of the ghost. It was the female ghost in red I'd seen on the monitor earlier. Is she angry because I didn't let the students go that way? Most of the ghosts in this school are former students who died here, so the female ghost wearing a red dress struck me as a bit odd. Before I could speak, the female ghost bared her fangs first, looking like she was about to devour someone. "You have a lot of cavities in your mouth." I stared at her mouth. "Doesn't it hurt when you eat?" The female ghost snapped her mouth shut. It does a little, but there's no dentist here. I'm not a dentist. What do you want? Sorry. The female ghost suddenly bowed to me to apologize. I know you're very powerful, security teacher, so I'm really sorry that my boyfriend bothered you. Boyfriend? Who? Well, you took his head, took it back last night. He came to my room today while you were away and cried to me, saying you abused him. The female ghost looked timid, as if she didn't really know how to interact with people. 80278591. But I know the truth. He likes scaring people, and this time he bit off more than he could chew. Getting his head chopped off was what he deserved. It's just, I hope you can spare him this once. 356-307-4496. I was in a security guard uniform, leaning against the door frame, adjusted my glasses and said, "So you're not here to trouble the students?" 147-598-5718. The female ghost nodded. 325-247-6927. I'm a little scared of them. 185-549-4976. A socially anxious ghost. 175-813-6604. That's new. 272-203-4904. The files the principal gave had no information about this red-cloaked female ghost. Maybe it's because she's never scared anyone. 305-139-5437. I used to be a teacher at this school. When I was walking down the stairs after school, students called out to me and scared me, so I accidentally fell down the stairs. 8800-35168. Actually, none of us meant to kill the students. It's just that there are always students who like midnight adventures and angered the bad-tempered ghosts on the top floor. 261-295-0545. Does that mean the ones who jumped off the building? 388-766-6186. There's one more thing I came to you for this time, the female ghost said, clenching her fists as if she'd made a great resolution. 353-536-4034. Recently, a terrifying monster has appeared in the girls' bathroom. It's 1,000 times scarier than the students. You're very powerful. Could you please help us get rid of it? 404-734-4896. I raised an eyebrow slightly. 364425408. A monster. 297309550. What kind of thing could it be that even a ghost would call it a monster? 124-708-7408. I heard students moving around in the hallway. They've already come up. 283-691-6541. I think you should be able to get along peacefully. 181-494-4558. Since you're here, I grabbed the female ghost's hand. Then come meet the students with me. Let them know your true feelings, and they won't be so stupid as to take risks anymore. 394-646-8897. If everyone gets along, I can collect my pay and enjoy my retirement life too. But I know the truth. He likes scaring people, and this time he messed with the wrong person. Getting his head cut off is what he deserves. It's just, I hope you can spare him this once. I was wearing the security guard uniform, leaning against the door frame, adjusted my glasses and said, "So you're not here to trouble the students?" The female ghost nodded. I'm a little scared of them. A socially anxious ghost. That's a first. The files the principal gave had no information about this red-clothed female ghost, probably because she's never scared anyone. I used to be a teacher at this school. After school, while walking down the stairs, some students called out to me and scared me, so I accidentally fell down the stairs. Actually, none of us mean to kill students. It's just that there are always students who like midnight adventures and end up provoking the bad-tempered ghosts on the top floor. You mean the ones who jumped off the building? There's one more thing I came to you for this time. The female ghost clenched her fists, as if she'd made a great resolution. Recently, a terrifying monster has appeared in the girls' bathroom. It's 1,000 times scarier than the students. You're very powerful. Could you help us get rid of it? I raised an eyebrow slightly. A monster? What kind of thing could it be that even a ghost would call it a monster? I heard students moving around in the hallway. They've already come up. I think you should be able to get along peacefully. Since you're here, I grabbed the female ghost's hand. Then come meet the students with me. Let them know your true feelings, and they won't be idiots and take risks anymore. If everyone gets along, I can collect my salary and enjoy my retirement life too. No. The students are too terrifying. the female ghost grew agitated, and spiritual pressure burst forth, filling the entire floor. The most powerful ghost, yet the one most afraid of students. I couldn't help but laugh. Listen to my command. Cruelly, come back, I said during the female ghost struggle. A pet that has already recognized its master has no right or ability to leave. In the men's restroom on the top floor, the long-haired male ghost student had just reattached his head to his body when a powerful force pulled him outward. He couldn't break free. His head and body separated again. Students in the hallway also sensed the icy cold air, huddled together one after another, and ran toward the known safest place, the security room. The students finally reached the security room, only to see a ball fly into the hands of the person in the security guard uniform at incredible speed. Wait, that wasn't a ball. I had turned on the hallway lights early, so the students could see the cute pet in my hand. It was a human head. Then they saw the red-clothed female ghost beside me. So noisy. I quickly covered my ears, snapped my fingers to mute them all at once, and instantly the entire building fell silent. The students' sanity points were nearly 0, so I could only send some warm thoughts into their minds. Let me introduce my cute pet to everyone. Just give it a finger, and it'll let you touch and hug it. The look of fear on the students' faces showed no sign of improving. Instead, they were frightened a second time by the security guard's actions. The security guard was also one of the ghosts. The only safe spot, like a candle being snuffed out, plunged their world into darkness in an instant. The despair of death crept onto their faces, and they wanted to cry but couldn't make a sound. Did it actually not work? I'm out of options. At this moment, the female ghost tried to take the opportunity to break free again. I squinted my eyes and stared at her with a smile. You said you used to be a teacher, I said through gritted teeth. These students are such a hassle. If they were players in the game, their game and their lives would have ended here together. But they're the people the principal asked me to protect. I can't kill them. The female ghost was frightened by my expression and squatted down on the ground immediately. Don't kill me, please. I won't run away again. I was just about to speak and tell the female ghost to go comfort the students. Teacher, is the female ghost afraid of you? It turned out that after the students saw the female ghost squatting on the ground, frightened, an unexpected turn of events occurred. I turned my gaze and fixed it on the girl standing at the front. She was the only one who had maintained her sanity during the chaotic scene just now. Someone so calm, I haven't seen in a long time. If she could enter the game, me, already retired, still supplying talent to the game? I must be crazy. Ghosts are afraid of teachers. Hearing the girl's words, a student next to her also looked up and glanced over at me. Even though I looked terrifying holding a human head in one hand, the other students had indeed seen and heard the female ghost begging for mercy. The female ghost said, "Don't kill him. The security guard teacher can kill ghosts." This thought made the group of students buzz with excited restlessness. Choosing to have student representatives come here was the right decision. They all had, more or less, courage that ordinary students don't possess. Seeing that their sanity had all returned to normal, I began to explain. Keep your voices down. This ghost lady is a bit socially anxious. There's only one thing you need to know. Ghosts won't actively attack you, so no need to be afraid. Even if they do attack, I'm here, I said, pressing down on my hat. In the students' eyes, I was roughly the same age as them. The combination of a young face and a security guard uniform created a strange sense of dissonance, but my strength made up for that. Next, I handed the file the principal had given me to the girl who had trusted me first. I said, "The contents here include the instigators behind all the school's supernatural incidents. I'll take you to meet them one by one." I had started working on it last night, figuring out every single supernatural incident in the file thoroughly. They're all just student ghosts, in both senses of the term. Most are just pranks. A few harmful incidents stem from long-held grudges against adventure-seeking students, and the rest are revenge by deceased victims against their attackers, like that blonde delinquent from last night, devoured and killed by a former victim of school bullying. Every cause has its effect, It couldn't be more normal. The students were right on my heels. The girl at the front, though staying calm, couldn't help but feel scared. The female ghost teacher wouldn't run away anymore, so I let go of her and turned around to open up a clear path for that female student. If you don't mind, you can hold onto my clothes. The rest of you hold hands and just follow me. The female student was clearly surprised by what I did. Her cheeks immediately turned red, and she carefully grabbed the corner of my clothes. Just then, I felt a strange and burning gaze. It came from among the students. I just assumed someone else wanted to do the same as the female student, so I didn't pay it any mind. Reaching the girls' bathroom the female ghost had mentioned, I stopped, along with the group behind me. The girl had been so shy the whole time that she'd forgotten to be scared and bumped straight into my back. That burning gaze, hot enough to scorch, appeared again, and there was even a murderous intent-like feeling. I frowned subconsciously and looked into the crowd of students. Found nothing. Each student had an admiring look in their eyes, as meek as little quails. All right, right here. The ghost that used to live in the girls' bathroom was chased out by the monster, and it's missing an arm and a leg. Hearing this, the students turned pale with fright and huddled into a circle behind me again. Feeling the students behind me, I chuckled and said, "Calm down, no need to be that scared." Suddenly, a student's cold breath brushed against the back of my neck, making me feel a little ticklish. "Where's the monster?" The female ghost turned to look at me, the second one in the bathroom. Before she could finish speaking, the female ghost's expression changed. I sensed something wrong behind me. My gaze gradually sharpened. "What's happening?" "Teacher, there's a ghost right behind you." The female student tugging at my sleeve had a voice trembling uncontrollably, as if the words were coming from her throat. "A student. It's the student hiding among us." After these words, the original group of students had already moved away from me, standing opposite me with panic written all over their faces. Immediately after, sticky, slimy sensation appeared at the back of my neck. Soft, slippery, it was sucking on the side of my neck. A familiar feeling came flooding back. I knew it was a suction cup, and what was coiled around my neck was a tentacle. When did it get to my side? I didn't even notice. Beneath my glasses, I glanced back out of the corner of my eye toward the monster student behind me. "Darling, long time no see." Before I could see him, he leaned close to my ear and spoke first. The tentacle, like arms, wrapped around my neck, pulling my entire body into his embrace. But as soon as he spoke, I recognized his voice. "William, my ex-boyfriend." Knowing it was him, I immediately let out a sigh of relief, raised my hand to grip one of his tentacles, relaxed against his chest, and felt the cold temperature of his humanoid body. "Long time no see. Greeting me like this, you really aren't afraid of dying. Just now, I almost killed you, William. If I feared death, how would I dare to love you, darling?" He lowered his head and kissed my ear. Cough, cough. I awkwardly covered my mouth and coughed lightly. The students and the female ghost beside them all froze in place when they saw this. Even the head-shaped pet in my hand had an indescribable look of shock in its eyes. "That's my sensitive spot. William knows. He did it on purpose, asserting dominance, just like before. But we're not a couple anymore now." The hand holding his tentacle tightened suddenly, and he let go of me with a wince of pain. Yet I still didn't let go, and William's tentacles started to tremble. "Is he the monster you were talking about?" I asked the female ghost. Seeing that I had subdued him so quickly, the female ghost couldn't hide her surprise and nodded vigorously. As for the group of students, the look of fear vanished instantly, turning into wild admiration. "Teacher, you're so amazing." The female student couldn't help exclaiming, "You're my lifelong idol." Upon hearing this, William's expression darkened. Sensing that William was about to lose his temper, I quickly tightened my grip on the tentacle again. "James," William's voice was strained. "Don't do this." The tentacled monster student was saying my name so intimately, which made the female student feel extremely strange. "Teacher, who is he to you?" I sighed softly and explained, "He's my ex-boyfriend. He won't do anything to you. Don't worry. But he has tentacles. He's a monster. Teacher, I just like tentacles, so what?" In the end, I didn't reveal my kink in front of the students. I just said, "I don't mind." Then I turned around and said to William, "Did you retire too?" come to work at the school. Hearing me ask this, a strange curve formed at the corner of William's mouth. Darling, I'm surprised you can stand in front of me so unperturbedly. After speaking, several more tentacles grew from behind him, each pressing against my skin, coiling around my arms, my waist and abdomen, then my calves, and between my thighs. William lifted me up. I'm a bit shorter than William, but now I can look him straight in the eye. Back then, William liked to be intimate with me like this. Being suspended in the air makes me feel so insecure. William is the only anchor, so I can't escape at all. Damn it, after not seeing each other for so long, I still like being treated this way. It's just that I don't understand what he meant by unperturbed. We broke up amicably back then, so of course I'd be unperturbed. Seeing I had no intention of running away, William seemed a little surprised. His eyes were filled with deep, heartfelt emotion. Overflowing longing was released as he stroked my cheek with his palm. Even without words, love would still shine through his eyes. William likes me. No, he loves me deeply. Or have you already prepared an explanation? To explain to me, for your death 20 years ago, the fact that you're still alive now. My memory circuits suddenly connected. In an instant, I finally remembered what happened back then. It's been nearly 20 years now. Too many memories have piled up in the corners of my mind. And before William said this sentence, I had absolutely no memory of them. I finally figured it out. I faked my death to escape. Yes, William. I knew he would never let go no matter what, so I took extreme measures and made William think I died in a dungeon. Then I colluded with the system, created another identity, and came back to the game. And then William caught me. I'm screwed. James, finally remember? What a forgetful guy. I knew it would be like this. Otherwise you would have run away long ago. How could you have waited for me to catch you? Honey. William wore a playful grin. The students and the female ghost standing aside were all caught up in the drama. And the head pet in my hand, stuck in the middle of this chaos between William and me, looked like it was about to cry but had no tears. I lost my strategic composure. William and I are equally matched in strength, but he's better at fighting than me. I can't beat him in a head-on fight, so now I can only find a way to calm him down. James, you've been holding him since earlier. Let go first, otherwise things will get ugly. Though I could kill them first, then kill you. William kept the smile on his face, but it held an unprecedented sense of danger. The tentacle in my hand has no suckers. I didn't notice until William pointed it out. This is William's reproductive tentacle. I hurriedly let go of that tentacle. No wonder William had a strange expression when I was holding it earlier. Sorry, but could you put me down first? William, facing the ex-boyfriend I'd let down, I backed down. Why should I listen to you? I've looked for you for so long. Darling, you don't think I'm here to keep pestering you, do you? Listen, James, I'm here to kill you. After all, you've been dead for so long. The dead should stay dead, shouldn't they? I didn't refute his words. Teacher, hearing William was going to kill me, the female student even tried to rush over to save me. Don't come over. I shouted to stop the female student. This is between us. Just stay there. One more step forward. My eyes turned blood red. I'll kill you. I saw William's tentacle sneaking around from behind. As long as the female student took one more step forward, William would rip her head off. William hides his killing intent and is decisive and ruthless, which is why he's the boss players fear the most in the game. Now my role has turned into prey. If William really wants to kill me, I'm not 100% certain I can escape. William, how can I make you understand my apology? Beneath my glasses, my gaze remained fixed on the man's face. Finally, I smiled faintly. Maybe the answer is just that simple. Even though I was suspended in mid-air, a truly heartless person like William wouldn't have let me within his safe distance. I bent down, closing my eyes. I kissed William lightly on the lips. Female ghost. There are still students here. Security guard. Cruelly, I should be under the car. But after I kissed him that time, William seemed even angrier. Don't think I won't kill you just because of this, James. One isn't enough. Then another one. I kissed William again. James. William felt like he was being played with. I bent down with effort, and this time, I kissed William. It was no longer a quick, fleeting brush of lips. It was an intense intimacy with lips and tongues intertwined. William wouldn't have the heart to refuse my kiss. I know, he loves me very much. The tentacles wrapped around my body slightly loosened, and finally I felt myself being placed on the ground, my hands regaining freedom too. I reached out to wrap around William's neck. The dominance immediately shifted, and William gripped my waist, deepening the kiss. I couldn't help letting out a gasp. William bit my lip, like a punishment, yet also like a passionate mark. Wait a sec, William, you started it first, James. I know, but there are students everywhere, and I still have a task tonight. I'll just kill them all, and then your task will be over. But I'm here to make money. If the students die, the principal won't pay me. Take my money, all of it's yours. At this point, I really had no response. I promised the principal, they can't die. That's how you left me, James. I was never your first choice. Hearing that, I paused in my steps to leave. William knows everything. They're important to you, but what about me? What am I to you? James, I hate you so much. The students and ghosts present didn't dare to make a sound. Finally, I slowly took off my glasses. Tonight's human ghost social event task is over. See you at the security office at the same time tomorrow. After speaking, I turned to the female student, gave her a warm smile, and said, "You're in charge of organizing this. Can you handle it? I'll have the female ghost see you all back to the dormitory." The female ghost nodded from the side. The female student was stunned by how handsome I looked after taking off my glasses. "Yes, teacher, I'll take care of it. I trust you, teacher. I'll get them safely back to the dorm right away." I felt quite relieved. "You, teacher, you must be happy." At the very last moment before leaving, the female student finally said what was on her mind. I put Cruelly on the ground, giving him the whole night to move around freely. Turning around, my gaze fell on William. Even though the female ghost and the students had left, there were still ghosts in the teaching building peeking out, curious to see what was going on. "William, I'm sorry. Let's go to the security room to talk about the rest." The moment the door closed, the tension in the air spiked at an unimaginable rate. William pinned me against the door. Partly out of a desire to make amends, I responded to his rough kiss. Then I stopped the kiss. Things always need to be resolved. "William, listen to me." William stopped moving. "I'm so sorry for what I did. I can't make any excuses for it. I gave up being with you, even faked my own death, just because I wanted to complete more tasks. I was so selfish, and it made you so sad. I don't know how to make it up to you. But now, William, you need to know, we no longer belong to the game. The principal said I'll become a real human in a year. Maybe you can too. I apologize for my past mistakes. If you don't want to forgive me, I understand. But give me a chance to make it up to you. William, please let me love you." After saying all that, I could barely bring myself to look William in the eyes. I was afraid to see William's expression, and scared to hear his rejection the next second. But William didn't say anything. He just cupped my face and kissed me. Then his movements became incredibly gentle, his hands roaming around, doing many things in place of his fingers. I've been single for a long time. After William, I'd never thought about this kind of thing again, because only William could arouse me. William looked down at the boy beneath him, feeling he'd lose to him no matter what. James, his true love, just a few kisses, and William was willingly repeating the same mistake. Yet it was just James's verbal promise, and William actually wanted to believe it wholeheartedly. Later, he figured it out. William had never prepared for this meeting to kill James, but rather to give James a chance to recall and tempt him. The beloved turns back, and love remains. I loved you for a long time before you said you loved me, James. He's called William. Again, in front of the girls' restroom, the female students had already brought the student representative over. I held William's hand and introduced him to all the students. William's gaze stayed fixed on me without shifting. Sometimes I always felt he was just staring off into space under the pretense of looking at me. The female students saw our clasped hands and immediately got starry eyes. I nodded proudly. I've already talked to the principal. Starting today, William will handle supernatural incidents in the school with me to establish a good social relationship between humans and ghosts. Similarly, William is already my boyfriend.